Hello and welcome back to Town Meeting TV. My name is Emily Brewer and today I am joined by Dean Roy. And Dean is a candidate running for governor in the 2026 election. And super happy you could join us.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. We're just gonna have a little conversation here about to learn a little bit more about what got you interested in running for governor, what the process has been like. And yeah, I'm excited to learn more from you. So I think to get started, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from and whatnot?
Yeah, so I'm Dean Roy. I'm 14 years old and I'm running for governor. I'm from Stowe, Vermont, and I grew up there. I've lived there my entire life. Over last winter, I was a legislative page, and that's really when I started getting involved in politics. I've been to some recent meetings at my town hall, and overall, I'm hoping to get my voice out there and possibly be a face in politics sometime in the future.
Wonderful. And so tell us a little bit about your experience as a legislative page. Like, what did that entail? How did you become one?
It really all started the process in 6th grade. The actual legislative page period is in 8th grade. When I went down to the state capitol on a school trip, and my teacher told me about the opportunity. And then in 7th grade, I decided, why not? Let's go for it. I applied, I wrote an essay, and really that was about it, just writing an essay. And then after that, I learned that, well, I got in. There are a total of 21 pages as of the last session. Sometimes it changes.
Okay.
But really what the process is of being a page is you handle the mail for the legislators, you deliver messages, sometimes you get to work on certain things. You also get to be in the actual House and Senate sessions. Usually what that entails is you're just passing notes along to them, and sometimes you're maybe counting certain things, or once you get to read off the Pledge of Allegiance. But what's really interesting about it is you get to meet with legislators and even more important people than just legislators. It's incredibly cool to get to talk to the people who lead our state. I got to interview John Rogers, the recently elected lieutenant governor. After I was a page, I interviewed the Secretary of State. I got to talk to Phil Scott. We got to talk to the Attorney General, all of that. It's incredibly interesting to meet all of the people who really define our state.
I can see why then that has motivated you to become more involved in politics. Like, that's a really up close and personal way of taking part in like the state political system. What would you say is one of your favorite parts of being a page last year?
I think it was, so last year there was a protest going on. Obviously Trump was just elected. And I think that was so incredible to see. There was maybe about 300 people all right outside the building in Montpelier. And it was possibly the most interesting thing in my life because I've never seen that many people coming together for a common goal. I've never really seen much of a protest before that. So it was incredibly neat to see many legislators went out, some people talked. It was really cool to get to watch the entire thing go down.
That's amazing, yeah. And I've been to the State House when there's been some protests, but never like that level of people. So I can see why that was a pretty cool experience. So I'm curious, Dean, why exactly are you interested in running for governor as a young person?
Well, as I'm growing up, I'm seeing more and more politics are being for the older generations. I don't see many young people getting involved in politics. I mean, I think the average age of our last 4 presidents has been over 65. So when I see that, I'm thinking, I need to get involved. I need to be able to spread my message. And I think it's important for everyone of any age to be able to spread their message. And I'm seeing the youth being, a lot of times, they're either just not interested in politics, or they think, oh, well, there's no chance that I'm going to do anything in politics. So I really want to show the youth that it is possible to get your message out there. And as long as you work hard and you go for it, no matter your age, even at 14, you can get onto the ballot and you can even end up on some news channels.
Good for you. That's so inspiring. How did you even find out that it was possible for you to run as governor?
It's a bit of a funny story. So during my 8th grade graduation, one of my teachers told me that if I'm ever running to become the youngest ever governor of Vermont, I'll be your campaign manager. So then I went home, looked up what are the age limits, found out that there are none. So now I'm running. A person has ran before. He was 13. He ran in the Democratic primary. So I'll be the youngest ever person in U.S. history to appear on a general election ballot.
And that's because you are not running as a Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, I'm running a third party that I created.
And so you created the third party. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's called the Freedom and Unity Party. It was created once I started my campaign, technically. In Vermont, it's incredibly easy to create a third party. So yeah, I have that currently created, and then one of my friends is running as lieutenant governor also under the party.
Okay, interesting. So because you are running as a third party, the primary is only for Democratic and Republican candidates. So that means as soon as you get the needed amount of signatures to be on the ballot, you've officially become the youngest person to run for governor then.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, okay, all right. So tell us a little bit about what the process has been so far in terms of getting onto that ballot.
So I need 500 signatures in total. I need that by next May or June. Currently I'm sitting at just above 400. And really what the process has been is I'm walking around my town, mainly going to my, post office.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll go to the town hall, sometimes local businesses. And I just ask people, hey, are you willing to help me in my campaign? And usually people say yes. Sometimes people ask a few questions about it. Yeah, and it's kind of just been talking with the average Vermonter. I get to learn a lot about what they think. And yeah, it's been fairly simple. Walking around town, getting signatures from people. I've had a few other events like this planned out so far. I was on Vermont Viewpoint not all that long ago. And I've been recording videos, I'm posting those on Instagram. But mainly it's just been getting some signatures right now.
And how has the reception been talking to people? Mostly positive?
Mostly positive, yeah. I think every once in a while I'll have a person say no, but I would say at least over half just sign it, and usually they don't even ask questions.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the beauty of it, because it's like you're not necessarily voting for you by signing the signature. It's just allowing you to be able to be on the ballot. And so, what is in terms of signing, what are the requirements for somebody to be able to sign on?
So as long as you are a registered voter in Vermont and you're over 18, boom. As long as you'll be able to vote in the next election, you can then sign it.
Awesome, okay. So I am curious, my next question has to do with, you are seeking candidacy for governor of Vermont, but you yourself are not able to vote yet. Can you tell us a little bit about how that feels and what you think about that?
I mean, it's incredibly odd. This rule dates back to the time of the Vermont Republic, so it's a bit of an oddball rule here. It's just very, very weird that I am not able to vote for a candidate. I won't even be able to vote for myself, but I can get my voice out there and I can actually run. It's incredibly, incredibly odd to do.
It's fascinating to think about, because there are a lot of laws in Vermont, in the nation, but in Vermont in particular, that are just quite antiquated. But I love that you are so passionate about this and you're using this one to your advantage and really getting involved at a young age, which is incredible. And and one of the things that I was reading, you said that you'll continue to run year after year. Can you tell us a little bit about what you mean by that?
Oh yeah, hopefully you'll see me on the ballot again. If not, in the next election after this one, which I will actually be able to vote in. or the one after that, or the one after that. But I can assume that sometime in the future you'll see my face up again, if not for governor, for state rep. But I can nearly guarantee that I'll be a face in politics, hopefully, sometime in the future.
That's incredible. So I'm curious now, who are some examples of political figures that you admire or look up to?
Well, I think a few. One, Bernie Sanders. I mean, he's stuck by his message so well throughout his entire life. He's had a very successful political career. But also, at a more local level, Governor Phil Scott. He's done an incredible job at speaking with the opposition a bit well. And it's really impressive to see someone in these divided times to be able to sit down and speak with the opposition. I think Vermont is incredible at not being as divided. Vermont is very, very good at compromise. And I love to see our Vermont politicians being able to talk to one another and being able to agree on things or disagree on things, but at least they disagree politely and they can find compromise.
So, you know, when you get on the ballot, which I have no doubt that you will, considering that you are over 400 signatures and have many, many months to go, you know, we'll invite you in to be a part of our governor forum. And as part of our election coverage, you know, we have forums where we invite every single candidate on the ballot in to have equal time to talk and have conversations with one another, answer all the same questions. And so because of that, I won't get into any like specific questions that you may see at that point, but I would like to give you a little bit of space to just like talk a little bit about like your stances on a few issues that are important to you.
So a few issues important to me. I'd say one, an issue that is important to all Vermonters is property taxes right now. I think that it's very clear that we need to reform that. What I think is also important to me, and this might be something not as many people know about, but I think democratic reform is incredibly needed in our country. We're the only nearly fully functioning democracy that still uses the Electoral College, only has two parties, and still doesn't use ranked choice voting. That needs to be changed. We can't be going forward as a country with these nearly undemocratic ways of leading our elections. I think that we certainly need ranked choice voting in Vermont and in our country. The Electoral College, I think, needs to be substantially reformed. And also, I think that there needs to be we need to deal with gerrymandering much, much better than we have in the past. Obviously, as many people know, we've recently seen in Texas and California, both of those, there's been some gerrymandering. And I think that there needs to be a board to prevent that. There needs to be ranked choice voting in our country, and there needs to be reform in the Electoral College. Also, another issue that's prevalent to me is, as I mentioned before, youth are not getting involved in politics nearly as much. We need to show the youth that politics aren't just the boring little thing that just goes on in the background. We need to show that politics, it affects everyone. And it affects the youth as much as it affects the 65 and older, the seniors. And I think what we really need to show is that they have a place in politics. And even if, I think also in this modern world, the youth can have a much better opportunity to get into politics because of social media. They know how to manage social media much, much better. And I think we really need to show that you don't need a huge budget to get into politics. All you need is the right mindset, some good policies, and a way to share your message.
Absolutely. And, you know, that really leads me into another question about, you know, you've already sort of answered this, but just going a little bit further into, you know, what would you say to other people your age who are interested in getting into politics but might not know where to start or what to do?
I'd say that you don't have to lead a campaign to get into politics. You can start a podcast. You can even just read political books. You can do a huge assortment of things to get involved in politics, even at the local level. You don't have to be hoping to win every single election or anything like that. You can start as small as possible, or you can start the biggest possible. It's incredible versatile. And I think I want to really stress the point that you can really lead politics from anywhere as well, you know? You don't have to live in a city to get involved in your city council. You don't have to be in these huge political centers. You can be anywhere. And it really needs to be shown that, yeah, you can just get involved in politics in the most basic ways possible or the biggest ways possible.
You know, it's so interesting to have a conversation with you because, like, I think about myself when I was 14 and I was just so kind of checked out from the world of politics. Like, it wasn't really something that I was thinking of. Of course, this was 11 years ago, but and times have changed, but not really. And so, like, it's really inspiring to see, you know, it's not just you. There are so many young people that are now wanting to be involved. And, you know, I actually think I either have seen you before or met you at the State House when you were a legislative page, because we were there advocating for community media. And we've also recorded, you know, the budget address and stuff like that. But it's just like, it is so wonderful to see, first of all, that they have the legislative page program to get youth involved in a way that, like, you know, it kind of opens your eyes to, like, oh, like, I could do this. But just that there are people passionate enough at a young age to want to. So I'm very impressed by you and appreciate what you're doing. I would love for you to just talk a little bit about how folks can learn more about your campaign, how they can get in touch with you, and how they can support you.
Yeah. So you can contact me directly at my website, deanroy.us, or if that doesn't work for you, you can go to my Instagram page. It's deanroy_for governor. I post videos there usually about twice or 3 times a week. You'll get to learn a bit more about my views, and then you can also contact me directly through Instagram DMs. There's also, if you're wanting to, I believe I've already mentioned the contact page on my website, but if you're looking for an opportunity, if you want to endorse me or if you want to request a meeting with me, if you want to interview me, you can contact me there directly, and I hopefully will get back to you pretty soon. I don't know, I've been pretty busy recently, but hopefully I'll get back to you.
Awesome. Dean, thank you so much. And I think I'd just like to end by asking if there's anything else that we haven't talked about that you want to get out there, and also just like what you're looking forward to as you continue your campaign.
I mean, I don't think that there's too much else for me to say. What I'm looking forward to? Well, first, get on the ballot. That's obviously my first priority right now. And then after that, kind of see where it takes me. Hopefully there'll be more opportunities. I've already been interviewed by a few other news sources. Hopefully that continues. I'll continue posting on my Instagram, probably throughout the entirety of next year. And then really the next stop from there is the election. So already kind of getting into the prep phase.
Wonderful. Well, Dean, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you again a couple of months before the November election in here with our forum with all the other candidates for governor. And in the meantime, please check out Dean's website and Instagram. And thank you so much for watching Town Meeting TV.